British Triathlon, proudly partnered by GE. Imagination at work.
Hello and welcome to the GE Blenheim Triathlon. In the month of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee celebrations, it's fitting that we've come here to Oxfordshire for this most regal of triathlons, where once again the best of British looks set to sparkle. Despite its growing popularity, triathlon still remains a sport where greatness mixes with grassroots, and nowhere is this more apparent than the rolling hills and manicured lawns of Blenheim. There are famous faces to watch out for all over the Grand Estate this weekend. We have the male and female reigning world champions in attendance, 2 cracking elite races, and 1 or 2 celebrities hoping to relive the former glory days in a new sport. It really is amazing to see the array of former sportsmen and women now attracted to triathlon, and it just goes to show that this weekend, Blenheim is the place to be seen. 7,000 have signed up to take part this weekend. As well as mothers, fathers, family and friends, there'll be well-known faces to cheer on, such as MasterChef finalists Andrew Kojima and Tom Reynolds, who'll be challenging each other once again, although this time they'll be looking for the recipe for fast racing.
Kitchen, I'm comfortable. Today, I'm not so comfortable. I'm not a brilliant swimmer.
Neither of us have done triathlon. We don't know. We've heard about transitions. We don't know what it's like, and I think today's a big learning experience.
Roger Black will be hoping to translate his track skills into triathlon, as will rugby winger Austin Healy. Amongst other speed merchants, Jensen Button raced here last year. Are you gunning for Jensen's time, 109?
Is that what he did, 109?
Yeah.
I don't know, it'd be lovely to be able to do that. If everything holds up, I'd hope to be close, but we'll see.
Have you done much training?
I've done a little bit of swimming, but mainly in a swimming pool. I've been in open water once, and that was no fun at all. Got my bike a week ago. I've done a bit of running though.
Jodie Stimson is one of the strongest runners on the pro triathlon circuit, and she's here to defend her Blenheim title. 2 first-class elite events coming up in 2 days of racing that will offer some of the finest and most unusual sights in the sport. So we're all set for an event with something for everyone. History, culture, architecture, sporting excellence, and that all-important ingredient in any British summer, a little bit of sunshine. Blenheim is a race tailor-made for newcomers, with supporters always ready to encourage those enduring and enjoying their first swim, bike, run experience. 40% are first-timers, and like all non-elites, which is the vast majority of course, they race according to gender and age group. During the whole event there will be 37 start waves making a splash in the lake below the palace, with most taking on the sprint distance course that starts with a 750-metre swim. That's followed by a 3-lap 20k bike course on closed roads around the park, much of which was designed by Capability Brown, although that master of landscaping won't be at the forefront of anyone's thoughts as they head on to the final 5k run. Competitors can also have a go as part of a 3-stage relay, and there are shorter distances on offer, but as they come into the finish, everyone from the first-timer to the world champion gets a cheer. The Brownlee brothers have been a revelation to the sport of triathlon, and they'll line up as 2 of the favourites for gold come Hyde Park later this summer. But so too will the women's world champion Helen Jenkins, and she's been more than playing her part in the Olympic legacy by doing a spot of coaching and inspiring the next generation of the sport's superstars. The Duathlon for 5 to 14-year-olds allows all family members to experience racing at Blenheim, so while mum and dad are battling round the course, the kids can show them how it's done, as well as getting to meet a world champion.
I think one of the most rewarding parts of being an athlete, you do have the opportunity to work with some of the younger athletes, and seeing the enthusiasm they have for the sport is, I think it's really inspiring, especially if you've had a day where, where you're tired from training and you're not that motivated. You see some of these young kids and you think, oh yeah, that is what it's about, is just, getting out there and just doing the sport.
How nice has it been to go through your preparation knowing that you were already sort of pre-selected, if you like?
Yeah, having met the criteria last year was, it's a relief, because it just gave me one focus for this year, and that focus is the Olympics. I didn't have to worry about selection races. It was just about preparation and then getting ready for August the 4th.
With her Olympic place confirmed last year and top form already shown this spring with a win in San Diego, Helen can afford to sit this one out. But there are dozens of other elite female triathletes all here hoping to make an impact in the first round of the British Triathlon Super Series. So let's join Patrick Winterton for a lowdown on who's here and who's in it to win it.
Jodie Stimpson is certainly here to win. She's done it before. In fact, she's done it in 2009 and 2010, and she's very much the hot favourite in the women's event.
What's been the appeal of this course, and why has it suited you so well in previous years?
I mean, it's really well organised, and obviously the crowd is awesome here. It's a home race. But to be honest, the swim's always fast, the bike's undulating, and so is the run. So it's a tough little course, and I know it's only a sprint, but it definitely gets you at the end of the day.
Just 17 years of age, Sophie Caldwell, one of the very talented juniors here in Blenheim. She finished in the top 2 of the junior events in every one of the British Super Series last year, and she's a strong swimmer, strong runner. She should feature.
Just obviously work hard through each phase of the triathlon, and then hopefully if I get in a good bike pack, then it'll help me along. Whether instead of if I'm just on my own, then I'll find it obviously really hard. It's the first one with the seniors. I've never raced against seniors, so just seeing how I fare against those older would be a good race.
With the safety briefing over, the women are ready to go. And there are a number of very, very talented athletes indeed. Sky Draper is someone who'll be looking to impress in the early stages.
With Jodie racing and some of the other junior girls are really great runners, and it's going to be a tough run out there today. But I think I'm definitely capable of doing well. So with how I've been doing in training, so I'm hoping to be up there.
Helen Jenkins has the honour of starting the race today. That will mean a lot to some of the athletes. Helen Jenkins, of course, the reigning world champion. Not racing here today in Blenheim, but her presence very much appreciated. A good start from all the women. It's a straight swim up to the top of the lake, and then a 180-degree turn back down to the finish line of the swim to complete the distance of 750 metres. It will take them around 9 or 10 minutes. It's a great start from Jessica Learmonth. She leads the way at the moment. Druitt still up there in that leading group. Florrie McLeish also swimming well. Draper just ahead of the favourite Stimpson at the moment.
I think on paper you can say anyone's a favourite. I think on paper you can look at stuff, but on the day anything can happen. And you can't just look at times and say, oh, she's going to win. You've got to realise that on the day anyone can do anything really.
At 16, Sky Draper showing a lot of confidence. I think she believes that she can win despite the fact that Stimpson is favourite. A unique course here in Blenheim with that big climb into T1, and that's something that the swimmers will be thinking about already.
Pretty tough course. One of the hardest things is the swim, and there's a long run out to the bike. So even if you come out the swim well, you're really going to have to work and be pretty tired by the time you get to the bike. I think that's probably going to be one of the key moments in the women's race.
Approaching the pontoon now, the 750 metres completed, and it's going to be Hannah Druitt who's first out of the water. She's got good company though. Draper is there, Lawrence is there. Learmonth, who led for a while, back in 4th place now after a little slow exit off the pontoon, and now the long climb up into T1. Off comes the wetsuit. They'll take it down to the waist just to ease the running. No one choosing to take the wetsuit off completely at this stage. Draper pushing hard. She looks as though she wants to be first into T1. McLeish just behind her. Nice start from Holly Lawrence as well. The second group of swimmers have lost almost 30 seconds to the leaders. Sky Draper looking very focused, and she's going to have to stay that way if she wants to hold off Stimpson, who's starting to make a charge. She's already gone from 5th to 3rd.
I look at all the juniors, I mean, they've got speed, but I think that's one of my positives, that I've still got speed, so hopefully I can stick it with them.
The long run into T1 continues. Draper still holding on to the lead. Stimpson closing up into 2nd place. And it's not easy on the feet at this stage. The matting is down. But after a cold swim, they just do need to be a little bit careful. Now, the key to this stage is remembering where your bike is, and all the top athletes taking a lot of care to make sure that they locate it straight away. We've got over 6,000 racking positions here at Blenheim. A massive, massive event. Now the top seeds have their bikes down the far end because it's a little bit quicker to run without the bike, and therefore they get the advantage. Through the drills that Stimpson has done so many times before. She'll want to be first out of T1. Draper will want to match her. Caldwell looking to be in a good position. It's Sky Draper who's done well, but there's the first mistake. The shoe is off the bike. Now have a look at Stimpson's pedals. She'll have them fixed in the horizontal position, the cranks, and then once she gets going, that tie will be broken and she'll be away.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Well, even Stimpson's drills weren't perfect, but she is still first to come out of T1. Then the rest follow. Draper is there, Lawrence, Caldwell in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And those 4 could produce a very powerful group. Out comes Jessica Learmont. She led the swim for a while, but has dropped back some 20-25 seconds. And she's got the company of Windsor, 2 juniors riding together as the favourite heads out of Blenheim over Van Berg's Great Bridge. Stimpson, just behind her is Lawrence. Sky Draper losing 3 places with that mistake in T1 and now having to work to get back in touch with the leader. A little wobble from Draper, but she survives that. Now to move up into 2nd place. Again, she nearly gets squeezed onto the verge, but now she's where she wants to be and she can focus on beating Stimpson.
So the women out onto the bike course as Alistair Brownlee prepares to make his Blenheim debut. Join us after the break for what should be an electric start.
British Triathlon, proudly partnered by GE. Imagination at work.
Welcome back to Oxfordshire for the GE Blenheim Triathlon. This magnificent palace was built in the 1700s as a tribute to the Duke of Marlborough's victory in battle. Well, it's a modern-day army of a very different nature out on the estate this weekend. We have world-class triathletes, former England rugby stars, world champions on the track, and some master chefs. But now, with the elite women on the course, it's time to turn our attention to the men, and all eyes are on the Brownlee brothers. While world champion Alistair's been out with injury, his younger brother Jonathan has taken the chance to make himself king of the ITU World Series and a favourite for the Olympic Games, both of which are usually positions held by the older Brownlee. This will be Alistair's comeback race from an Achilles injury that's kept him out the sport for too long. The triathlon world is watching. How strange has it been not being on the circuit with your brother, and how close is he to being back?
It's been very, very strange and something that's been very different because Alistair is someone who last year I raced in every single race with. So I've been going to briefings together, travelling together, staying in the same room, racing together, you know, our tactics to each other, and not having them has been very different. But it's something I got used to. But I'm pleased to have him back, and yeah, he's getting fit now. I've done a few sessions with him. Like I came out from Madrid, did a run session with him, and he's very, very fit. He's getting back to where he was before.
The last couple of months have gone all right, and I couldn't really ask for any more. And Achilles injuries are nasty, and you know I think I came out of it quite well. And I've had a good couple of months of training now, so hopefully get this couple of races out of the way, and I've still got 6 weeks of fairly solid training, hopefully, and that should put me in a pretty good position.
How do you manage to keep your frustration under control when you're injured, especially when you're seeing Jonny going out and smashing out some big rides and runs? It must be hard to keep it under control mentally.
Yeah, I had to switch off completely really and detach myself from the sport completely. I had to concentrate on other things and not worry about the training that I could be doing or should be doing or anyone else is doing. I think that's the only way to go about it, otherwise the frustration would just be an absolute nightmare.
Because I see Alistair and I know how much he absolutely loves going out training. He doesn't do sport because it's his job or any other reason, he does it because he absolutely loves it. And to see him sat at home when I'm getting my bike kit on and thinking, oh yeah, I feel sorry for you. But at the same time, you've got to be selfish and think, I can't worry about Alistair. I've got to get on my own training, I've got my own Olympics to do, my own racing. But it's been hard, but it's been a lot harder for Alistair, so yeah, I felt sorry for him.
When the gun goes today, there'll be no sympathy from the rest of the field. Harry Wiltshire's swimming is always a threat. Tri-Gold scheme graduate Matt Gumby's in the run form of his life with a new PB over 10,000 metres, and fellow Tri-Golder Mark Buckingham is also a first-class performer on the final discipline.
Probably only see him race in this race and then at the Olympics this year in the UK, which is, so it's great for athletes like myself because we don't always get to race against them unless you're doing World Series races. I think you'll see today that the pace will be hot right from the off.
Harry Wiltshire will make sure it is. He'll be aiming to stay with the Brownlees through Transition 1.
I've been training pretty hard for my bike. I'd like to help out on the bike. I'd like to make the gap bigger. If the gap's big enough, I can run for some prize money.
The pressure's on them, as always. They usually deal remarkably well with it, but there'll be a lot of guys wanting to take it to them, I'm sure.
So the competition will be stiff in the men's race. The Brownlee brothers have gone on the far side of the lake looking for some clean water. It's a straight up and back course here at Blenheim. Harry Wiltshire, renowned as one of the best swimmers in world triathlon, and he is going to find out whether he's still got the beating of Alistair and Jonny Brownlee today. What an honour to have them racing here in the British Super Series. Still fairly even as they go through the early stages. On the very far side, you can see Alistair Brownlee, regular looks down the course. He's broken clear of his brother and swimming beautifully. Remember, he's been out of action with an Achilles tendon injury over the last 3 months or so, but it has not done his swimming any harm at all.
So Alistair Brownlee was picking up his triathlon career how he left off. Meanwhile, Holly Lawrence, Sophie Caldwell and Sky Draper were keeping Jodie Stimpson on her toes as they ticked off the laps on the bike course.
It's quite nice to be the favourite in some races, but I mean, there's still some good girls coming through, and you can't underestimate any women in the UK. Everyone you've got to take as a threat.
As they came towards the end of the 3 laps, Caldwell was poised for a running race with Stimpson. This one would be settled on foot. The men were about to hit their first foot race of the Blenheim Triathlon, the run up to Transition 1, where we can rejoin commentary.
What a comeback by Alistair Brownlee, his first race since the Achilles tendon injury, and he is flying. He's been swimming hard, of course, but when he's injured, he works on all the things he can work on. He certainly doesn't put his feet up and watch the box all day. Jonny Brownlee, second out of the water, so it's the 2 Brownlees, 1 and 2, hardly a surprise. Harry Wiltshire up there in the leading group as well. He's had a good swim. Richard Stannard, of course, he's not far behind and should be able to exit T1 in the top 5. Alistair Brownlee, though, looking fantastic. Now, this is a real test of the Achilles tendon, the long run uphill in bare feet into T1. I think his physiotherapist will be very nervous indeed. Emma Deakin, in charge of his rehabilitation over the last few months, she'll be watching carefully. The masses arrive at the pontoon, already over a minute behind the race leader. Massive entry for Blenheim, as always. One of the most popular races in Britain. And here's one of the most popular athletes in Britain. Good applause. He's saying that now he can't go anywhere without being recognised. Even last year, that certainly wasn't the case. He's on the front of the local phone book up in his part of the world. That certainly helped his fame. Jonny Brownlee, having dominated the World Series races over the last month or so, suddenly finds himself in position number 2 behind his brother. Now these two discuss tactics all the time, so they will have a race plan, and they often work together on the bike. Off comes Alistair's wetsuit. Jonny Brownlee still 6 or 7 seconds adrift of the race leader, and Alistair Brownlee is going to be first out of T1. And that nice easy downhill section, the first few hundred meters of the bike ride, will allow him to settle into his normal race routine. Now the two brothers often have a race plan which involves working together. I suspect we'll see the same in the Olympic Games, certainly on the bike. Harry Wiltshire out in 3rd place and some way behind the two Brownlees. One or two of the women have been overtaken by the Brownlee brothers. Don't be confused by that. Wiltshire in the background, some 150 metres behind. Bowden comes out and Brian of Ireland is out. Good run from him. There's Richard Stannard, and just behind Stannard, a very strong cyclist indeed, Rhys Davey, and he'll be looking to make some ground. The same suits, the same shoes, the same Boardman bikes for the two Brownlees, and they are flying. Keep an eye in the background at the bottom of the climb. Harry Wiltshire now 200 metres behind and losing.
They're just too good, aren't they? Yeah.
Harry Wiltshire may think so. The Brownlees certainly won't. They'll be looking to improve over the next 6 weeks as they build towards the Olympics. Don't forget, the Olympic Triathlon in Hyde Park, one of the few free events, and it's on August the 7th for the men, August 4th for the women's event, where Helen Jenkins will be going for gold.
Stay clear, please! Women coming!
In come the women into T2, and Stimpson is leading, but she's not got any margin over the chasing three. Draper still looking very strong indeed. They've also got Sophie Caldwell, who looks strong in the water and has matched Stimpson on the bike as well. And Holly Lawrence, the 4th of that group. Very good drills by Stimpson. This could earn her a few metres grace. Draper nice and quickly into her running. The second pack in the women's field. They have to be off the bike before that white line. And everyone safely through. Stimpson, now she always starts hard, but I don't think I've ever seen her run the first kilometre as quick as this. She is putting on the pressure, and she's leaving Sophie Caldwell for dead. Now Stimpson settles in as she works her way away from the palace. 2 laps of the lake. It's an undulating run course. You certainly need to save something for the last kilometre and a half. Very fluent, very fluent. Don't forget, she's won Blenheim on 2 occasions, 2009, 2010. She wasn't here last year, but she's looking for a 3rd Blenheim victory today. The Brownlees still separated by no more than a metre, but it's Alistair who did much of the work in the swim, and it's Alistair who leads the bike at the moment. Jonny, who's won 2 of the 3 World Series events so far this year, now knows he has a race on his hand. That little smile from Alistair out front showing that he's comfortable and he's happy to be back racing. Piling on the pressure and pulling away from the chase pack that is woefully disorganised at the moment. Rhys Davey trying to get them to work as a peloton. No one seems prepared to do the work. Wiltshire in red, hanging back. Well, Rhys Davey knows he can't do it alone. He needs help, but they have to work as a team if they want to catch the 2 leaders or even close the gap on the 2 leaders. Now they start to work together, but it may be too late already. Wiltshire hits the front of the chasing group, but they're a minute down on the 2 Brownlees.
While the chasing pack was in this kind of mood, the only thing the Brownlee boys would have to worry about was each other and Alistair's fitness. Regarding that, all the questions were starting to be answered.
Between you and me, Alistair's in awesome shape. the two of them are going to have a fight. I would have thought, you know, they're going to want to race, they're going to want to know who's best.
They were hitting high speeds, whilst for the likes of Mark Buckingham, who would have been hoping for a run out against the Brownlees, the lack of positive progress in the chase pack would be frustrating.
It's a real tough triathlon course, it's an honest course. There's nowhere to hide and sit on a wheel. Obviously in draft legal racing you can take a bit of shelter sometimes, but on this one, because of the undulations, the crosswinds and things, it's not as beneficial to sit in and do nothing.
Nevertheless, there was still nothing doing. The women were on the way to the finish, and while 17-year-old Sophie Caldwell was putting in a tough and promising display, Jodie Stimpson's experience, fitness and sheer determination might just be too much. And speaking of those qualities, the men's bike was on to the final lap.
Jonny Brownlee leading the way, but not for long. Alistair takes his turn at the front. The two brothers working very well together. A lead of 35-40 seconds, and then they change. Here come the chasing pack. They've finally got it together, and the fact that they're in single file indicating that Harry Wiltshire is pushing the pace up front. And now comes Rhys Davey. He turns up the pace and pulling away on the steepest, the longest climb on the Blenheim course. And he's pulling clear 5, 6, 7 metres. And he keeps the work rate going. The 20-year-old looking very strong indeed. Davey, who trains in Morocco, Lanzarote, Tenerife. It sounds glamorous, but my goodness, he puts the work in. Didn't finish in Banyol. That was a big disappointment at the start of his season, but now he's looking in fine form.
It was good stuff from Davey. Meanwhile, the Brownlee brothers too were going like, well, one of these. After dominating the bike stage, it was almost time to unhook the carriages and see which of the two brothers would have the leg speed on the run. With transition 2 approaching, let's rejoin commentary with Patrick Winterton.
Well, ever since the first 500 metres of the bike ride, the two brothers have been working side by side, and now they come into T2 where they shouldn't be separated unless one of them makes a terrible mistake. That is unlikely. They both have their own drills and will be totally focused on the job ahead. Alistair looking for instructions now. That's something that he shouldn't have needed to do. Attention to detail is crucial in this game. In the heat of the moment, it is so easy to make a mistake. Rhys Davey into T2. He's got third position, the member of the Challenger World Triathlon team, and he's reaped the rewards for breaking away from that chasing group. In he goes as the Brownlees exit over the footbridge. He will have got a very quick glimpse of the competition, and he may know already that he's got no chance of chasing these two down. They're good at swimming, they're brilliant on the bike, but they're outstanding when it comes to the final run, and that certainly has been Alistair's ticket to success over the last 4 seasons. For the moment, Rhys Davey has transition number 2 to himself, and really he has to focus on holding on to that third position at the moment. Good quick drills as the running shoes come on, and he needs to settle into a fast pace. Now, Alistair Brownlee, this is the leg that he and his coaching team and his medical team are concerned about. Remember, he's been out injured with an Achilles injury. He spent a lot of time running in a hydrotherapy pool, actually, an underwater treadmill, and day by day, they've lowered the level of the water to increase the tension on the tendon. It looks good at the moment. Davey, slightly heavier on the run. Jonny Brownlee, 22 years old. He's almost exactly 2 years younger than his brother. He won in Madrid, he won in San Diego. He'll be racing again in Kitzbühel in the World Series. But here he is in Blenheim, finding himself in second place to his brother. This is tough, both physically and mentally for the younger brother. Jodie Stimpson, what a great run from her. She came into T2 with a company of 3 very talented youngsters, but she's blown them away, as she's done so many times. Looking for a third Blenheim victory, just 100 metres to go. She'll enjoy this one. She's looked very, very strong here in Blenheim. And another Super Series win coming her way. Great support from her family, and she will have enjoyed that today.
Jodie, many congratulations. 3 times a Blenheim winner.
Yeah, it was really good today. I mean, the swim was, I think that was one of the coldest I've been in, to be honest. I think I'm just starting to feel my feet. So transition 1 was a bit slow because I couldn't feel my feet. But I made the girls work, and they did the best they could on the bike with me. And then I wanted to run really hard on the run, and this girl was chasing me.
Well, this girl is Sophie Caldwell, the 17-year-old from Nottingham. She swam brilliantly and certainly benefiting from the company of Rebecca Adlington in her pool. Lawrence finishes 3rd. Good finish from her, holding off the challenge from Sky Draper. Let's have a look at the women's results. Jodie Stimpson it is with the win here. The full quota of Super Series points with 4 races still to go. And she's a minute clear of Sophie Caldwell in 2nd. Holly Lawrence 3rd, Sky Draper 4, Sophia Sala down in 5.
So it was time for Jodie, Sophie and Holly to take the plaudits, while down by the water, the waves of enthusiasts were getting underway again, with the masses about to reclaim the course. There was still an elite men's event to settle though, and by lap 2 the younger Brownlee had worked his way back into contention, though it was still Alistair making the running. Behind these two, a cheeky pass from Buckingham meant he was now in the bronze medal position, though Adam Bowden was preying on his shoulder. Jonny Brownlee was doing the same to his brother, and with 800 metres to go, the battles for 1st and for 3rd were still to be settled. Time to rejoin commentary for those closing stages.
Adam Bowden down in 4th place, just behind Mark Buckingham. Bowden, of course, a history of steeplechase racing, but that seems a long time ago. And at the moment, it is Mark Buckingham, who's also a good steeplechaser, who is pulling away and showing the stronger pair of legs as they make the final climb towards the palace. A good turn of speed from Buckingham. That may just secure 3rd place today. It's been an incredible comeback from Alistair Brownlee. With 400 metres to go, he's 10 metres clear of his brother, but he's certainly in cruise mode at the moment. I'm not sure it's the victory that he's after. He just wants to prove that he is race fit, and he's certainly done that. Again, he looks over the shoulder. Jonny Brownlee getting a little bit closer as they come into the final 100 metres now. The crowd enjoying this occasion. Jonny goes left, Alistair goes right, and they high-five just about everyone in the crowd. It's been a fantastic performance, and these two are certainly going for gold when it comes to the Olympics in 6 weeks' time. Who can stop them? They cross the line together as they've done on many occasions.
I think that was exactly what I needed. You know, I needed just to do the process of doing the transitions and getting everything right, and just getting those first race nerves out of the way a bit. So I was glad it went well, and we had a plan just to go hard on the swim and up that hill out the swim, which you don't get very much, and work together well on the bike and then just run. So it went to plan really.
Has it given you a final little taste of how much the British public are looking forward to seeing you two guys in the big one?
Yeah, I think it has, yeah. The support here was great. It's great to have British and Wiltshire with you. But to come here and, yeah, we've been better in Hyde Park and we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Triathlon seems to be going crazy at the moment, We're getting recognised all over, which has never happened before, and everyone knows that there's a big race coming up this summer, so it's fantastic. Fantastic time to be in the sport.
Mark Buckingham with a very impressive finish indeed. He's clear now of Bowden, who is no threat. He will take 3rd place, but he might also beat the old course record, which was set by Tim Don last year of 59.30. He's just inside that, 59.26. So the top 3 all beating the old record. What a phenomenal performance, particularly by the Brownlees. They're 2 minutes 14 ahead of that previous record time.
Well, great performances from Ali and Jonny Brownlee, and as well from Jodie Stimpson. Plenty more to come here at Blenheim, including the Master Chefs, hoping not to make a meal of the course. The Brownlees prove they can also stand the heat in the kitchen, and we have a celebrity duel with a difference between Austin Healey and Roger Black. We'll see you very soon.
British Triathlon, proudly partnered by GE. Imagination at work.
Hello, welcome back to the GE Blenheim Triathlon. The elite men's and women's races have finished, but there's still plenty more to come here in Oxfordshire. Olympic silver medalist Roger Black is up against rugby player Austin Healey, and the Brownlee brothers find the heat's turned up on them in the kitchen. Just an average weekend here at Blenheim. MasterChef finalists Andrew Kojima and Tom Reynolds will guide Alistair and Jonny through their culinary challenge, but they're good sports, these cooks, and they're taking their turn at triathlon. In the orange swim caps here, it's a strong start from both, though the early pace is certainly short-lived. Meanwhile, the Brownlee boys are wishing the best of luck to two unusual competitors in John Neville and Finn McBernie. Finn is disabled from the chest down following a motorbike accident, and to raise funds, family friend John Neville will use custom-made equipment to pull and push him to the finish.
I had the crazy idea after doing the Blenheim Triathlon last year, raising some money for Finn, of taking him round. Put the idea to Blenheim, and here we are.
So Finn, when you heard he was raising money for you 12 months ago, I bet you'd have had to pinch yourself if you'd have thought that you would actually be joining in a year later.
I was kind of where he did so many, I couldn't really say no. It was kind of like, yeah, I've got to do it. So I'm quite looking forward to it. It's going to be a good laugh.
For reasons of safety, John ends up competing in one of the women-only waves. He's certainly enjoying being the centre of attention. John, how much training have you actually done?
Not enough. To be honest, I've been cycling in and out of work, which is about a 15-mile round trip. I've been doing some swimming during the day, a little bit of running, but it's the swim that's a worry. I'm actually going to pull Finn's brother in the boat. He tells me he's 12 stone, but you know, we could have done with losing a couple of pounds, to be honest. But you know, we'll get through. We'll get through.
John's far from the slowest in the swim, but he's feeling the strain at the start of a bike stage where the Blenheim Hills will make him earn every penny he's raising. And have you got a few encouraging words ready? If he starts slacking off and you're looking at your watch thinking, John, we're way behind schedule here, are you going to keep him on track?
Yeah, I can't keep him going.
Yeah. He's got a little whip somewhere. He tells me he's going to keep whipping me all the way round.
Far away from the cheering on the course, Tim Viner's taking an overview of the event. He travels the world, taking an artist's perspective on major sporting events for a national newspaper, adding this triathlon to a portfolio that already includes the World Cup and the Olympic Games.
What I'm trying to capture is a sense of the whole event for the day. So I've been drawing question and answer sessions with the elite athletes. I've been drawing the runners throughout the day, coming in and out of the transitions where they change from swimming to cycling. And with a backdrop like this, it's a fantastic way of capturing it. I've been doing this for 20 odd years, drawing with a pen and a sketchbook, and I go to sporting events, I kind of experience the sport, go back to my studio, work on the drawings. It's always after the event that I can publish those drawings. Now I've kind of bridged that gap, and I'm using an iPad to make the drawings in real time, sending them off to the newspaper, and they can publish it almost immediately.
Amongst the thousands still to take on the course is former international rugby star Austin Healey, who's raising money for charity through the Leaderboard Triathlon Challenge. He'll be taking on another sporting legend in the form of Roger Black, a world and Olympic medalist over 400 metres. They're supporting the same good cause, but on the course they could become rivals. Have you really got into triathlon then?
Do you know what? I'm doing it for the leaderboards, which are raising money for sport relief, but I'd never really cycled since I retired, never swam, so I only really started swimming on January the 1st this year, and it's amazing how quickly you can get that sort of passion for another sport. So cycling I absolutely love, running I hate still.
If there's one thing Roger should be confident about, it's that.
This isn't 400 metres today. You know, the 5k run is the last thing I'm thinking about really. It's that swim. You know, if you're not a swimmer, then swimming for 750 metres in open water is not any fun. So yeah, I'm going into the unknown, and I quite like that. I quite like that.
You're helping out with leaderboard and showcasing them. Austin's with them as well. He's unbelievably competitive.
Well, he's been away for a week on a warm weather training camp. You know, I mean, it's a bit sad. You know, for most of us who have achieved the top in our sport, we let it go. You've got to let it go, get on with the rest of your life, forget about it, move on. But some people just can't. And they, you know, it's just look at it. It's taking it too. You know, I think it's too serious. But hey ho, you know, we're all different. I'm here to enjoy it. Remember, it's the taking part that matters.
Well, best of luck. It's going to be great to watch.
Thank you.
Josh Lucy is another who's tasted the top level of his sport. He was part of England's 2003 Rugby Union World Cup winning squad, but his triathlon ambitions are slightly more modest.
We were talking about having a little chat on the way round. Whether we managed to get to do that is another matter, but there's some pretty fierce-looking athletes around the place. My days of serious competition are thankfully behind me, but it should be a bit of fun.
Of the few hundred in their wave, Austin and Roger are the first to be called into the water. Would they be first out as well? It's a great start from Healy on the near side. He's up with the top 5 in the wave, while Roger's already given up 50 metres. A 12:36 swim, which he follows with a fast transition, gives Austin a 5-minute lead over Roger at the start of the bike stage. There are some elite bike mounting skills too, a trick Roger doesn't seem to have practiced. Josh too is keeping the officials busy. Although his 13:11 swim is not far off Austin's pace. Healy's maintaining the tempo on the bike stage, on target to complete each of the 3 laps in just over 12 minutes. Roger's going to need something special on the final 5k run to catch him. The presence of a few celebrities as well as triathlon world champions always creates a buzz around the Blenheim course, and while the racing is still in full swing, the competitor village is the venue for something a little out of the ordinary. Well, we've already seen how good the Brownlees are out on the course here at Blenheim this morning, but now we get to see them up close and personal in the kitchen with our 2 resident MasterChef finalists, Tom and Andrew. Guys, just explain first of all what's going to be going on. It's all set up really beautifully here. What's happening?
Well, I'm cooking a quail dish. Don't know who for yet.
We're tossing a coin, so one of you is going to get Helen Jenkins, the reigning female world champion and Olympian, and her husband Mark, and then the others will obviously get the Brownies. Any preferences as to who wants who?
Probably Helen, because she hasn't raced today, has she? So she might be a little bit fresher.
Well, the best of luck, guys. You're going to have some able and willing assistance, I'm sure. So 25 minutes to produce the magic. Best of luck.
Yeah. Good luck.
Straight in.
Tom gets the Brownlee boys for his team and puts them straight to work on a salt and chilli squid served with pasta, while Helen Jenkins and husband Mark help Andrew with his quail soup with noodles. OK, less than 5 minutes now, ladies and gents. Well, a pretty decent effort in the kitchen by Helen and Mark, and over here by Ali and Jonny. But let's see how our resident chefs got on when they swapped the ladles for the lycra a little bit earlier. Taking on the shorter super sprint course, ideal for first-timers, the cooks were still in for a challenge. Tom had been fearing the swim and found it just as unpleasant as expected, while it was Andrew who was cooking with gas to emerge from the water with a vital 2-minute lead.
Hi. It is 2 laps, isn't it? Okay.
Tom wasn't giving up the chase though.
You've got 2 minutes on it. I'll take it easy there.
In fact, he was doing anything but, although even on the run, food wasn't far from the chef's mind.
Yes, please.
Tom was finding that the 3rd discipline was his strongest, gaining on his rival on every step of the run.
He's just ahead of you.
If it wasn't for the cycling and the swimming, it'd be fine.
But the effort came too late, and it was Andrew taking the honours on this occasion.
Delighted to finish, delighted to beat Tom. Just a couple of minutes in it, actually. But yeah, really pleased to finish and be here.
And were you aware of how close it was between you?
Yeah, the cameraman was sort of giving me time checks, and I was never sure whether he was like trying to G me up or make it closer, but anyway, I just kept my head down.
It was all about the swim. I knew that was going to let me down, and it did. Every single piece of advice I had before the event went out the window as soon as I got in the water. Basically paddled my way to the end of the swim, and then it was just I was playing catch up after that. So,
well, with a little bit of training, you might be able to take him next year.
That's it. The longer I have to train, the older he's getting, and you know, hopefully by the time he's 40, I might beat him.
Round 1 to Andrew Kojima then, but would it be the same result in the kitchen? The audience would provide the verdict. While Helen Jenkins may not have been on the course today, at least she gets a taste of victory in the kitchen, while her help makes it a double for Andrew. Everyone gets their own taste of glory at the finish, and there are some massive smiles on show. Many are raising money for charity, with Team Unstoppable in their distinctive shirts raising over £150,000 for leukemia and lymphoma research.
Jesus Christ!
Nobody has a tougher time on the run than John Neville. It's time to dig deep. But getting Finn to the finish of the race was never in doubt, and when the end comes into sight, there's enough left for a big push home.
Many congratulations, John. How was it? Not bad. Hard, but not bad. Yeah, enjoyed it. Finn was brilliant. Good encouragement.
Now, Finn, did he give you a bumpy ride?
No, he did well. He did bloody well, he did. A lot better than I thought, to be honest.
Was he looking a bit tired when he got up into transition 1 after the swim?
No, after the swim he was looking good. He was up them hills. It was them hills that gave him a bit of problems, but no, we did well.
Well, I tell you what, Finn, I reckon you owe him a pint tonight. Well done, lads, and hopefully see you same time next year. To be fair to Roger, 5,000 metres was always a long way over his best distance, and both he and Austin find it tough on the 2-lap run. But it's the rugby man who's first home in 1 hour 22 minutes, a top effort.
So what a great event. Loads of support. Really good atmosphere. Hold on a second, I just need to my hair a bit. That's better. Yeah, it was amazing. Do you know what? First triathlon done, so safe to say that I'll definitely do one again, I think.
I'm really pleased I've done it. It's a lovely event. It's a good crowd. A lot of camaraderie along the way. I'm really pleased I did it, but I'd have to do a bit more swimming training if I'm going to come back.
In 1 hour 27, Josh Lucy proves he's still got plenty of the old fitness left.
It's great, it's lovely. Lovely atmosphere. Everyone cheering each other on. Just great events, aren't they? Fantastic.
Well, that just about wraps things up from Blenheim. It's been another memorable weekend in the Oxfordshire countryside, and not just for the elites and the celebrities, but also for the thousands of enthusiasts who, together with their friends and families, have more than enjoyed the Duke's hospitality. Good luck to all the British Olympians whose preparations now enter the key final phase. Now we turn our attention to round 2 of the British Triathlon Super Series. That's coming up on Channel 4 next week from Windsor. In the meantime, from Blenheim, bye for now.
British Triathlon, proudly partnered by GE. Imagination at work.